Meanwhile, in a remote military base, soldiers who had once felt forgotten and ignored felt a renewed sense of purpose. Sergeant Daniel Lee had spent years training, but never had he imagined he would be fighting an intergalactic war. With the sound of the Guardian's victory ringing in his ears, he gathered his fellow soldiers. "We can't just sit back. We need to join the fight," he urged. They all agreed, ready to stand by the Guardian and protect Earth. In every corner of the globe, people responded. Activists, scientists, and everyday citizens began organizing. They created support networks to gather supplies, technology, and volunteers for the cause. From factories to research labs, everyone wanted to contribute. Together, they were forming a massive force to defend their planet. Back on the USS Guardian, Sarah knew they needed to act quickly. The Empire would not take their defeat lightly. They would regroup and return, and the humans had to be ready. She called an emergency meeting with her crew. "We have proven that we can stand up to the Empire, but we need more than just our ship. We need the strength of every person on Earth. It's time to unite." The crew nodded, inspired by Sarah's words. They began brainstorming ways to connect with people on Earth. "We could use the ship's communication systems to send out messages," one officer suggested. "We can share our story and call for unity," Sarah agreed. "Let's tell everyone what we're facing. We need to reach every corner of the planet." As the crew worked, Sarah felt a sense of hope growing within her. This battle was not just theirs, it belonged to all of humanity. The Guardian began broadcasting messages across the globe, showing footage of the battle and calling for unity against the Galactic Empire. In a matter of days, people responded in droves. Crowds gathered in streets holding signs that read, "Earth stands united, and we will fight." Local leaders and influential figures joined the cause, encouraging their communities to take action. The sound of determination echoed through cities, and the spirit of humanity was ignited. Soldiers returned to their bases, and civilians volunteered their time and resources. Engineers began working on creating new technology to support the fight, while scientists researched ways to counter the Empire's advanced weaponry. The entire planet was alive with purpose, united against a common enemy. Meanwhile, the Empire was busy regrouping. Captain Zephyr, furious about the unexpected defeat, received reports about the unity forming on Earth. "They're organizing!" he shouted, slamming his fist on the table. "We can't let that happen. We must crush this resistance before it grows stronger." But Earth was no longer the same. The humans had found their strength and resilience. As the Empire prepared for their next attack, the Guardian and its crew prepared as well, knowing they would soon face the Empire again. Sarah stood on the bridge of the Guardian, looking out at the stars. "We are stronger together," she reminded her crew. "This is our home, and we will fight for it." The crew nodded, determination shining in their eyes. As the people of Earth came together, they showed that even in the face of great adversity, they could rise as one. United by hope, courage, and a fierce desire to protect their planet, humanity was ready to face whatever the Galactic Empire would throw at them next. The day had come for the humans to face the Galactic Empire again. The USS Guardian hovered in space, surrounded by a fleet of newly formed human ships. Each vessel was a symbol of unity, a reminder that humanity was no longer afraid. Commander Sarah Trent stood on the bridge, looking at her crew with a determined expression. "Today we show the Empire that we are ready to fight back. We will turn the tide in this battle." The atmosphere on the Guardian was electric. Every member of the crew felt the weight of the moment. They had trained hard, and now it was time to prove themselves. As they awaited the Empire's attack, Sarah could see the determination in her crew's eyes. "We've come a long way since our first battle," she reminded them. "Let's make this count." Meanwhile, Captain Zephyr was seething with anger in his command ship. After the last defeat, he had been planning for revenge. His fleet was larger and better equipped this time, and he was not about to let the humans embarrass him again. "Prepare to engage the humans!" he shouted to his crew. "We will crush their spirit and remind them of their place." As the two forces faced off in the vastness of space, the tension was palpable. The Empire's ships, sleek and menacing, moved in formation, ready to strike. On the Guardian, Sarah watched the enemy fleet closely. "Stay calm, everyone. We know their tactics. We can do this," she encouraged her crew. They nodded, hearts racing, ready for what lay ahead. Suddenly, the Empire fired the first shots, beams of light racing through space toward the human fleet. Sarah quickly ordered evasive maneuvers. "Turn to starboard! Get us out of their line of fire!" The crew sprang into action, working together like a well-oiled machine. The Guardian moved gracefully, dodging blasts while returning fire. The battle began with chaos. The Empire's ships fired relentlessly, but the humans fought back with newfound courage. Missiles shot from the Guardian, striking the Empire's vessels. Explosions erupted, lighting up the dark void of space. The crew felt a surge of hope as they saw their strategy working. In the heat of battle, Sarah spotted an opening. "Target their command ship! If we can take out their leader, we can weaken their entire fleet." The crew responded with enthusiasm, focusing their fire on Captain Zephyr's ship. They unleashed everything they had, hoping to disrupt the Empire's plans. Meanwhile, Zephyr watched in horror as his fleet began to crumble under the humans' assault. "What is happening? We cannot lose to these creatures!" he shouted. Frustrated, he ordered a counterattack. "Focus all fire on the Guardian! Destroy them!" The Empire's ships turned their guns toward the Guardian, unleashing a wave of firepower. Sarah's heart raced as the alarms blared. "Brace for impact!" she shouted. The ship shook violently as explosions rocked the hull, but the crew held their ground. "We can't back down now," Sarah yelled, rallying her crew. "Remember why we're fighting. For our home. For each other." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. They focused on their tasks, pushing through the fear that threatened to overwhelm them. In the midst of the chaos, Daniel Lee, a sergeant who had joined the crew, saw an opportunity. He rushed to the weapons console, coordinating fire from the human ships. "Aim for the engine section of their command ship," he called out. "If we can disable them, we can win." The crew followed his lead, and a series of well-aimed shots struck the Empire's command ship. Sparks flew as damage reports flooded in. Zephyr's frustration turned to panic as his ship struggled to stay operational. "No, we cannot lose," he screamed, but his words fell on deaf ears. The tide was turning. The humans, fueled by their unity and courage, pushed forward, taking advantage of every opportunity. As the Empire faltered, the morale of the human fleet surged. They were no longer just defending, they were on the offensive. Sarah smiled as she watched the Empire's command ship begin to fall. "Keep pushing! We're almost there!" she shouted. The crew felt empowered, each explosion echoing their determination. As the battle raged on, it became clear that this was a turning point. The humans had united and fought with everything they had. With one final strike, the Guardian launched a devastating attack on the command ship, and it erupted in flames. Cheers erupted across the human fleet as they saw the Empire's flagship destroyed. They had not only defended their planet, but had struck a blow against their oppressors. In that moment, Sarah knew they had shifted the balance of power. Humanity would no longer be underestimated. With the Empire in retreat, the crew of the USS Guardian celebrated their hard-won victory. But they also understood that this was just the beginning. They had united against a great threat, and they were ready to continue the fight. Together, they would defend their home and ensure that humanity's spirit would never be broken. After the intense battle, the USS Guardian floated peacefully in the void of space. The Galactic Empire had retreated, their once mighty fleet scattered and broken. Commander Sarah Trent stood on the bridge, her heart swelling with pride. The crew had fought valiantly, and their victory was a testament to what humanity could achieve when united. As the crew celebrated, Sarah felt a mix of emotions. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. The Empire would not give up easily, and she knew they would regroup and plan their revenge. She turned to her first officer, Lieutenant Maya Chen. "We need to prepare for whatever comes next. This isn't just about us anymore, it's about the entire planet." Maya nodded, her expression serious. "We need to focus on strengthening our defenses. The people on Earth are counting on us." Together, they began brainstorming ideas on how to fortify their forces. Back on Earth, the news of the victory spread like wildfire. People poured into the streets, celebrating with cheers and fireworks. They had seen their courage and unity pay off, and hope filled the air. Cities that had once felt small and insignificant now buzzed with excitement. Communities came together, determined to support their heroes in space. In a small town, Mia, the young woman who had watched the news with her family, couldn't contain her excitement.
"We did it!
"We showed them we are not weak!" she exclaimed, her eyes shining with pride. Inspired by the Guardian's crew, she decided to organize a gathering in her town to discuss how they could contribute to the fight. "Let's show our support," she said to her friends, who eagerly agreed. Meanwhile, in military bases across the globe, soldiers were preparing for the next phase of the conflict. Sergeant Daniel Lee gathered his fellow soldiers, ready to lead them into action. "We have to train harder than ever," he said, determination in his voice. "We're no longer just defending. We're fighting for our families, our homes, and our future." As the soldiers trained, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to develop new technologies. They knew they needed better weapons and defenses to match the Empire's capabilities. Local factories transformed into bustling hubs of activity, producing everything from spacecraft parts to weaponry. People of all backgrounds came together, united by a common goal. Back in space, Sarah and her crew were hard at work as well. They analyzed the data from the recent battle, searching for weaknesses in the Empire's strategy. "We need to understand their tactics if we want to win," Sarah explained during a strategy meeting. "Let's prepare for their next move." The crew worked around the clock, discussing and debating. They studied enemy movements, looked for patterns, and devised new plans. Together, they honed their skills, training tirelessly to ensure they were ready for the challenges ahead. As weeks passed, the spirit of unity continued to grow. People across Earth rallied around the military. They hosted rallies, fundraisers, and even created art celebrating their heroes. Songs and stories about the brave crew of the Guardian filled the airwaves, inspiring everyone to stay strong. Finally, a new alliance formed, bringing together various nations and cultures. They understood that to face the Galactic Empire, they needed to work as one. Leaders from around the world held meetings, discussing strategies and sharing resources. They were ready to stand together against any threat. In space, Sarah felt a surge of hope as she looked at the stars. The humans had proven their strength and resilience. "This is just the beginning," she told her crew. "We have shown the Empire that we are not to be underestimated. Together we can build a new future." The USS Guardian was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of hope for humanity. As they prepared to face the Empire again, they knew they were ready. United by their victories and struggles, the people of Earth had awakened a spirit that could not be broken. As they set their course for the next encounter, Sarah felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever. They had fought for their freedom, and they would continue to fight for their future. The battles ahead would be challenging, but with their unity and courage, they would face anything the Galactic Empire threw at them. The dawn of a new beginning had arrived. Humanity was ready to defend its home and fight for a better tomorrow. Together, they would show the galaxy that they were not just survivors, they were warriors. The USS Guardian soared through the stars, leading the way into a future full of hope and promise. In a galaxy filled with powerful civilizations, the Galactic Empire was one of the mightiest. They controlled countless planets, enforcing their will with advanced technology and massive fleets. Earth, a small and seemingly insignificant planet, was known to the Empire, but they believed it posed no real threat. They thought of humans as primitive, barely capable of space travel. However, they were about to discover just how wrong they were. One day, the Empire's sensors picked up strange energy signals coming from the Sol system. These readings were unusual, sparking curiosity and concern among the Empire's leaders. They had seen odd signals before, but this time felt different. The Empire decided to send a fleet to investigate, thinking it would be an easy mission. Little did they know that the humans had a hidden secret. On Earth, a secret military group known as the Shadow Force had been preparing for this moment for years. They were aware of the Empire's growing power and knew that one day they might come for Earth. In a remote location deep within a mountain lay a massive supercarrier called the USS Guardian. It was a colossal ship, equipped with technology far beyond what the Empire had ever seen. The Guardian was built in secret, using resources and knowledge that had been kept hidden from the world. As the Empire's fleet approached, the humans were ready. The Shadow Force had trained tirelessly, preparing for the day they would have to defend their planet. They monitored the Empire's movements closely, waiting for the right moment to reveal their hand. Inside the Guardian, the crew was tense but focused. They had been told stories about the Empire's cruelty, and they were determined to protect their home at all costs. Meanwhile, the Empire's fleet, consisting of several ships, entered the Sol system. They were confident, laughing at the idea that a small planet could ever threaten them. "Prepare for a quick scan," ordered the Empire's captain, a tall, imposing figure named Captain Zephyr. His crew nodded, certain that they would find nothing but a primitive world filled with weak humans. As the Empire's ships moved closer to Earth, the humans activated their supercarrier's cloaking technology. The Guardian became invisible to enemy sensors, hiding in the shadows of the nearby moon. The crew held their breath, waiting for the right moment. They knew that the Empire was underestimating them, and this gave them a significant advantage. Captain Zephyr ordered his ships to spread out and begin scanning for any signs of life. The Empire's crew began to chuckle among themselves, confident that this mission would end with easy victories. "Just a few more minutes and we'll crush whatever is down there," one crew member joked. But deep down, they felt an uneasy chill. They had never seen the Empire misjudge a situation before. Back on the Guardian, the crew felt a mix of fear and determination. Their leader, Commander Sarah Trent, spoke to her team. "Remember why we are here. We are fighting for our families, our homes, and our future. We must show them that humans are not to be underestimated." The crew nodded, feeling a surge of courage. Suddenly, the Empire's ships picked up some unusual readings. They had detected a faint energy pulse that seemed to come from the moon. "What is that?" one crew member asked nervously. Captain Zephyr dismissed the signals, confident it was nothing. "Continue the scan. There's nothing down there worth our time," he ordered. But the humans knew they had to act. With their ships still cloaked, they prepared for a surprise attack. The crew loaded their advanced weapons, each soldier steeling themselves for the fight ahead. They knew the Empire's arrogance would be their downfall. As the Empire continued to scan, the Guardian slowly moved into position, ready to unleash its fury. The humans were no longer hidden in the shadows. They were ready to fight, and the Empire was about to learn that Earth was not the weak planet they thought it was. With hearts pounding, the crew of the USS Guardian awaited the command to reveal their hidden power. This was the moment they had prepared for, and they would show the galaxy that Earth was a force to be reckoned with. The battle for their home was about to begin, and they were determined to win. As the Empire's fleet floated in the silence of space, the atmosphere was thick with arrogance. Captain Zephyr sat confidently in his command chair, looking at the screens filled with data. His fleet was ready, and he felt invincible. "We will crush whatever we find on that tiny planet," he declared, his voice booming across the bridge. The crew cheered, their spirits high, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Meanwhile, aboard the USS Guardian, Commander Sarah Trent watched the Empire's ships through her tactical display. Her heart raced with anticipation. She knew the Empire believed they were unbeatable, and that gave her a unique advantage. The crew of the Guardian had trained for this moment, and now it was time to show the Empire the strength of humanity. "Prepare to engage cloaking systems," Sarah ordered, her voice steady and strong. The crew moved quickly, making sure everything was in place. They had practiced this maneuver countless times, and each member knew their role. This was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for their future. The Guardian lay silently hidden in the shadows of the moon, its massive hull blending seamlessly into the darkness. Outside, the Empire continued to scan the surrounding area, their arrogance blinding them to the true threat. Sarah smiled grimly as she watched the Empire's ships spread out, thinking they had nothing to fear. "Captain, we have a clear shot," one of her officers said, excitement bubbling in their voice. Sarah nodded, her mind focused on the task ahead. "Let's show them what we've got. On my mark. 3, 2, 1, now!" With a swift motion, Sarah activated the supercarrier's cloaking system. The ship dropped its invisibility, and in a flash, the USS Guardian roared to life. Powerful engines hummed, and the ship surged forward, emerging from the shadows like a ghost. The Empire's ships were caught completely off guard. The crew stared in disbelief as the enormous human vessel charged toward them, weapons primed and ready. "What is that?" one of the Empire's crew members shouted, panic rising in his voice. Before the Empire could react, the Guardian unleashed its firepower. Laser beams and missiles shot out, striking the nearest Imperial ship. The explosion was massive, sending debris flying in all directions. Chaos erupted on the Empire's fleet as alarms blared and crew members scrambled for safety. Captain Zephyr's confidence shattered in an instant. "Return fire! Engage!" he shouted, but it was too late. The humans had taken the initiative, and the Empire was struggling to keep up. The Guardian danced through the enemy fleet, moving with precision and speed. The humans operated their ship with incredible skill, dodging incoming fire while delivering their own. One by one, Empire ships fell, engulfed in flames and chaos. The crew of the Guardian cheered as they watched their plan unfold, adrenaline pumping through their veins. "Keep targeting their engines! We need to cripple their fleet," Sarah commanded, her voice cutting through the noise of battle. Her crew worked efficiently, aiming their weapons at the Empire's engines, hoping to create a path to victory. As the battle raged on, Captain Zephyr's anger boiled. "Why can't we hit them?" he yelled, frustration clear in his voice. The Empire's ships were designed for dominance, but they had never faced a force like the Guardian. The crew, trained to fight weaker opponents, struggled to adapt to the human strategy. "Sir, we have reports of casualties on multiple ships," an officer shouted, panic spreading. "The humans are relentless!" The realization hit hard. The Empire had underestimated their enemy, and now they were paying the price. In a desperate attempt to regain control, Zephyr ordered a full retreat. "Fall back! Regroup at the command ship!" But the humans were not done yet. They had tasted victory and were determined to press forward. The Guardian targeted the command ship, its weapons locked and loaded. With one final push, Sarah gave the order. "Fire!" The Guardian unleashed its might, sending a powerful blast toward the command ship. The explosion lit up the darkness of space, a brilliant reminder that Earth was not to be underestimated. As the remnants of the Empire's fleet scattered in disarray, the crew of the USS Guardian celebrated their unexpected triumph. They had shown the galaxy that they were a formidable force, and the Galactic Empire would never forget this day. Sarah smiled, knowing they had only just begun their fight, but today they had made their mark on history. In the wake of the surprise attack, the USS Guardian floated triumphantly among the debris of defeated Empire ships. The crew cheered and hugged each other, feeling the thrill of victory pulse through their bodies. But for Commander Sarah Trent, the battle was just the beginning. They had won this fight, but the war was far from over. As news of the battle spread across Earth, people began to realize the threat the Galactic Empire posed. No longer could they ignore the whispers of danger from the stars. From the largest cities to the smallest towns, humans began to come together, united by a common cause, the protection of their home.